Look at the skull. It's going to eat that left spawn.
You know what's screwed up, by the way? Well,
What?
that's mine, by the way, and the purple Terran's Rush. But on desert maps, all the buildings in the sand and units in the sand are always Terran. It's map bias against Terran.
It's an omen. No human's going to live on
Also,
Skull Desert.
It's actually kind of funny because that's like kind of a joke, but actually now that I think about it, it's not exactly, because different tile sets actually can have different functions for races. Now listen, this is actually true. The biggest example is snow maps you can't play Protoss on because
you go blind, yeah.
Because the warping is so bright.
They used to have maps that were covered in snow, and they had to stop because it's actually so painful to have warp stuff in on a snow map, just on the eyes, the way the colors worked. I don't know if did they change that, though? They could have changed that and remastered.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think it's like there's less snow covering used generally. Like your main is like Taucross, the main is all grass.
Yeah,
even though it's a snow tile set.
Yeah, it's almost okay.
There's like
totally
frosting on stuff. But anyways, another thing is different tile sets sometimes have different ramps. Desert tile sets, the main ramps that are used there are actually a little bit wide. So it's not as comfortable as like jungle tile set for Terrans because they want smaller ramps a lot of the time.
So, in this TVT, man, I'm not sure what's the right way to play this. I mean, do you actually have to play a tight game because there's threats of drops everywhere? Do you want to try to get a quick expand or Tosis?
It's a good question. Like, you would imagine that you just want to go ahead and expand. Mind looks like he's going to take a gas, so I'm not sure what he wants to do with this. Because I mean, the expanding is just like good, right? Like if you expand, you can hold on against everything if you can kind of figure out what's going on, but that doesn't mean that you can't go for a one base to open. Like, for instance, Mind, he could go for like a very quick push, knowing that his opponent is probably going to go for a fast expansion. Like, the fast expand without gas that Rush is doing is super duper common. And you get siege mode with it pretty quickly to try to defend, but there's other things you can do. You can get a little bit cheesy and go 2-port Wraith against it, or you can get a little bit cheesy and go like Vulture drops, you know, and trying to just run speed Vultures all around, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not sure what Mind's plan is here, especially considering he's stopped mining his gas. I guess he's just going to expand.
I do love TVT. It is such a beautiful matchup. And I know that there's so many people that are always bitching and moaning about, like, mirror matchups. I never actually understood why that was really a thing. Yeah. I think mirror matchups are so awesome to watch.
Yeah.
When you see both players start out with the exact same amount of stuff, and somehow, some way, one player has to overcome the other. That is so exciting for me.
It is a beautiful thing. I really have always liked TVT for sure. And really all the mirror matchups I have liked. I was actually kind of joking the other day. Those are my best off-race matchups are mirrors. Like, that would have been a funny thing to be a mirror matchup player.
Actually, you know what? I think that's true for almost everybody, though, in Brood War. Your mirror matchup should be your best off-race. Like, I can ZVZ.
Wait, what?
Yeah, for anybody in Brood War, the mirror matchup should be what should be best at. I mean, outside of your own race.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because
I can ZVZ. I mean, I can TVT, but just there's a point in time where it gets far enough in the game, I'm like, TVT has a lot more nuance and complexity in the later part of the game.
I always felt like the rock, paper, scissors formation was always best for people's off races, where it's like you're going to be better at PVT, ZVP, and TVZ, right? Because you can just kind of be the aggressor in those matchups, do aggressive builds.
My TVP is better than my TVZ.
Yeah. Because you can be the aggressor, like if you're playing an off-race matchup. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I always thought of it as the reverse. Is usually people are good at TVZ instead of TVP if it's their off-race, and they're good at...
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you're off-racing.
For me personally, my Terran, if I play Terran versus a Protoss, I'm better than I am a Terran versus a Zerg for off-race.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, anyways. I guess I'm not sure where we're going with that anymore, but
I'm like, you know, so like you have white shoes and I have black shoes on, like I guess we're not the same human. Yeah, there's all sorts
really
of weird
weird.
stuff. Yeah, it's weird.
So you're
I'm learning a
saying
lot
we're
here.
Different humans.
Yeah, like you like black olives and I don't. Like there's all sorts. I'm starting to figure something out here, and I don't even think you have
totally
the same thoughts
weird.
that I do all the time. Like, what's going
No,
on?
we probably have the same thoughts.
Mostly, I'd say it's probably about 85% the same.
All day, mostly both of us think about tastes all day long. This is so stupid.
Oh my god. So Rush is teching up to Wraiths here. But is it it's two factory for mine, right? Yeah. Now, one thing I will say in TBT, I have a hard time with is going for Wraiths right away and making it work.
Oh yeah,
That's a tricky
it's
one.
very tricky because like
He's like,
Sorry,
laying
I'm still
mines
a
there. He's
bit-
like, I guess the mines don't get set up by those eggs. Okay.
but yeah, it's going Wraiths is a little bit tricky. Like if you go 2-port Wraith or something, a lot of the times you want to have a spot where you're deciding to switch out of Wraiths again. Like for instance, if you go 1 base 2-port Wraith, generally you're going to make 4. And if you make beyond that, like counterattacks are going to kill you. You're not going to have any siege tanks.
One
stuff like that.
base, you generally make 4 Wraiths.
If you go like two starport, that's generally where
And
you'll
then you stop.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Well, generally, yeah.
Now I
because
know
if
why
you
I'm
don't,
losing.
you'll never have siege
I
tanks
get up to
or
like
command
8
center.
Wraiths and then they walk across the map with like 3 Goliaths to kill me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like, I don't, there's something I'm doing wrong here.
Yeah. And if I recall correctly, right, that's 8 Wraiths or 4 Wraiths, 2 Volley and SCV. So there's like a lot to that number as well. But anyways,
Tosis the Wise. You should have the beard here.
unfortunately, I can't grow facial hair.
You know, you
Again, proving that we're not the same human.
Yeah, wow. That's wild. So we'll see how prepared Mind is. If you get blindsided by Wraiths, things can fall apart pretty quickly.
Yeah, he has his scanners though. He has some Goliaths, so he's not going to take too much damage here. Pretty ready overall, and he has map control right now as well.
He wants to be super patient here to scan at the right time, because if he burns a scan, I'm like, that's one less fuel, guys.
So funny.
Thank you. Well, we can't be anywhere near his hype today because we're both sick.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know.
So
Excuse me.
There's some cool things about what we see Rush doing. The fact that he goes with the Wraiths, you lose map control by going Wraiths,
Yeah,
right? Because
absolutely.
your opponent has the ground units, so they get map control. Look at the map right now, the mini-map. You see all these dots. These are things like mines. There's a great vision right now for Mind. It's hard for Rush to really come out and do anything, but for this map in particular, this is something that can work out really super well because he's taking that base in the top left. He's knocking down these these simulators and all. So he's actually going to get up onto a bigger economy than his opponent here, which is really, really good.
I'm just worried about the push from Mind. Again, this is a matchup where there's a lot of different tech paths you can take. And when you go for the Wraiths, there is some vulnerability there. Absolutely, there is. And there's no tanks here at all. There are tanks somewhere in Rush's base, but they're not.
He's bringing him down. Like he can lose this wall, and that doesn't really matter at all, as long as he doesn't take any damage. So this is kind of the beauty of TBT. You can kind of do anything you want because tanks in siege mode in good position will hold on for like 100 years. So he's got that third base all finishing up and all that, and Mind taking his third now, but he is late on that. Yet he has map control, but what is he gaining from it right now? Not too much.
As we can see now, Mind continuing to grow on the map. There is going to be this problem that has to be addressed eventually here by Rush, which is the center control. Although this is maybe where we'll find out the rumors about Skull Desert become true, as the Skull actually then consumes the army on the middle of the map, like the end of some kind of an Indiana Jones movie,
Just a giant sandworm comes out and eats an army. Well, I guess there weren't freemen in those tanks, man.
Okay, he's just going to go for the bust.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think it actually could work. Oh,
Yeah,
good
that's-
targeting.
That's a sick
Sucks.
snipe right there. Oh, and Rush actually goes too far up right there. Like to siege within range of your opponent's siege tanks is
You
definitely
mean mine
off.
went too far up?
No, Rush went too far up. because he went up in siege, and then the tanks got 2 extra kills there for free. So what you want to do is just kind of hold the line in this point. And eventually you can like push back out because the Goliath range is not quite enough. You can force their barracks back, and you have air control with the raids.
Still doing a good amount of damage there on those tanks. I think he might try to regroup though over here. I don't know if he wants to try to lean in on him anymore. Now, of course, with the pressure of that push over there at the front, you could use these dropships and then drop them somewhere in the main. A lot of TVT is these big drops. Now, yesterday we saw Sock do a completely insane TVT strat where I think he got, it was like 9 dropships, which is not normal.
Oh no, it was crazy. It was like an all-in maneuver almost in a giant macro game. Like it wasn't all in. It was more like we are deciding this now.
Yeah. But Mind keeping the pressure on is going to try to do a drop over here into the main, possibly trying to bust down the entrance, or maybe he's going to do some elevatoring where he drops that army in there and then picks everything back up, comes in again.
Ooh,
right, he's been spotted by the eBay. Hero eBay.
All right, so this is a great unload to start this off with. Oh, this is going to be really dirty for Rush to try to clean this.
Ooh, and he's right over where the starports are. Now, I think he can take the dropships, pick up the next army, and drop on top of where these tanks are going to siege up as well.
Yeah, but there's some more units outside. I think he is elevatoring, like you were saying. So if Mine can get those in there, he's a little bit slow getting it in. If those had already unloaded, this would possibly just end the game right there. Even so, it might now.
I think, here's the thing, is if he drops on top of those tanks, which he's not doing, he's instead going to drop over here and try to cover that one remaining siege tank.
Notice the SCVs, one of the greatest units in TVT. This is actually how you're supposed to clean up big drops too. You have to pull all your SCVs. So you're like trading some of your economy for some of their army. It's
SCVs are pretty beefy, so it's okay for them to take some damage. It's not like drones, where if they're just sort of there at all, they're going to die.
Yeah.
Especially against Splash. Same with probes. But that makes them a great tool in a Terran versus Terran.
We don't see the science facility yet here. Definitely important to keep track of when they are going for that +2 attack. A lot of dropships filled up for Rush here also. So.
Yeah, well, Rush is long past the phase of the game where he was only relying on air. And with those extra starports, he was able to make some great dropships.
Ooh, that's a sick pick off there.
Big shutdown there.
You gotta assume that either had 4 Goliaths or 2 tanks or a tank and 2 Goliaths.
Yes.
Nothing
I'm like, we're 8 Marines. No, I'm sorry.
Like, maybe I had vultures. No, I didn't have that either.
Didn't have that. So, I think that was a great play there by Rush. Mine is actually pretty spread out here. He expanded, although he does have more expansion. So, we still need to see Rush actually come in here and dominate a certain position. It's mostly been Rush on the defense throughout this game, which is okay. You can do that in TVT.
Yeah.
For a while. So look at how successful Yosh got, man. Remember that guy never attacked the Terran versus Terran, man.
No, he certainly did not. That was the trick to beating him. You just expand everywhere. But dropships actually find a way through the turrets, but Mind knows he's out here. So when you know the dropships are out in a certain area, definitely you can chase them down with Goliaths and whatnot. Oh, look at this kind of sneaky maneuver.
This is
I like
really
that.
Tricky.
This is really cool. And now he can actually move out with the rest of his units, clear out whatever mines are in there as well. That science facility is up for mines, so he'll be having +2 on the way.
Rush is looking to pounce here on this base of mines. And he might have enough. I'm not sure where the majority of Mine's army is. We see some units were unloaded down there at the kind of center right base, but most of the other army is actually in dropships, and I think that Mine might be off tempo here, trying to be aggressive and drop when he actually simply put Kanat. In fact, he's going to have to defend this, and this is a really scary drop up here.
Oh man, yeah, this is going to be dirty.
Whoa.
With all those depots kind of in the way right now.
Oh, and he's doubling down.
Oh god, yeah. Rush is going to kill him, man. Look at that.
Yeah, well, I mean, how do you bounce back from this? I mean, first of all, Mine's going to lose all of his depots here, and he's so close to being supply blocked as it is.
This is the actual Doom drop that we see, right? Like the earlier drops, they can do a lot of damage, but you will eventually clean them with SCVs and units, but he's hitting like a critical mass of tanks here, where as long as he spots for everything, to break this is too expensive. It's not even worth it. It's better to just rebuild the buildings somewhere else. Like he's just losing his main.
We are coming down here now. I gotta say, man, I mean, the supply cap is already so bad for mine. The fact that he can't produce, that his factories have been lifted, and that Rush is continuing to grow at a very scary rate, I think the next drop actually KOs mine. This is a huge upset here.
Yeah, Rush playing a very, very solid game. Mine GG's. No big surprise there.
Nicely done, Rush. What an upset.